Hey, hello guys, and today I'm going to show you something I created in Kerbal Space Program that I actually absolutely adore. And yes, you read the title correct, V2Able. But first, we will need to have some context. Firstly, history buff. So don't mind if you, hear the KSP music. Okay, a pen as well, nice. So anyways, I'm going to show you. So as you can see on screen, this is the AtlasAble, a rocket that the United States developed from the Atlas missile. And well, it wasn't a very successful rocket. It had 5 flights and all of them were failures. 2 due to static fire on the launch pad and exploded, and 3 failed in flight. 100% unsuccessful launch record. And well, its design is still quite cool, as I personally think, and that is why I will redesign it in KSP, and don't mind if it's not the accurate. I was just using what I have, and as you can see here we have the historically biggest tank, which is the okay, I don't actually know how wide that thing is. Yeah, and with 3 KS-25 engines and 2 wings for the design at the bottom. And then well, you have the pinball upper stage with the liquid upper stage, that's correct. And it would actually be like you would have like a spin stabilized solar rocket motor, but this isn't really like good for it, so I just put like a liquid upper stage. So, and funny enough, as I tested this vehicle a few weeks ago, or was it days? I can't remember. The first stage got the entire thing into orbit, which was crazy. Like, this thing is way too powerful for KSP. Like, I'm 100% sure that with this rocket you could send like a tiny payload, like something like this, all the way to Duna and get into orbit there. I didn't test it yet because I'm quite bad at that, and it takes a while. But yeah, it's not the most historically accurate, especially with this. But I think it's quite a cool design. I also am a very big fan of the AtlasAble currently because it, well, just looks ridiculous. So, and then there was of course the ThorAble rocket, which you can see here on screen. Well, I'm just going to scroll through my list of more than 100 rockets that I've already made. Where's the T? So, and then there was also the ThorAble rocket. This was developed from the Thor missile, which was originally an ICBM with a single stage and a single engine. So it had way shorter range, and they were like brought over to England, and they were very small so that you can like put them into like like carriers, like aircraft. But after they were brought back to the US, they were made into launch vehicles, and the ThorAble had the same idea as the AtlasAble, which put the second stage onto it, on the top of it as well. I also forgot to mention is that the second and third stage are the second and third stages from the Vanguard rocket. Yeah, the one with the most spectacular failure of all time, in my opinion. So, yeah, I just wanted to add that. And I recreated the ThorAble in KSP as well with the KE1 Mastodon liquid fuel engine, not very historically accurate, and then with the same upper stage, exactly, and with 4 wings. It's not historically accurate, but who cares? It looks like it, so who cares? Now, you probably all are familiar with the V2 rocket, the first ever truly rockety rocket. I'm just going to say rockety rocket because it was by far the one with the longest range out of all. And it was made from the Germans as an intercontinental ballistic missile in the Second World War, to bombard London from like the Vichy France and all of that. I'm not geography once again. And well, I think it's probably the most cool looking vehicle ever. Exactly, so as you can see on screen, the V2 rocket, and it really looks amazing. So I recreated the V2 rocket as well. The wings are not that accurate, and the engine as well, but it looks fairly good, I think, especially for what we are going to come next. So yeah, I was using the I can't remember if this was the history pack of the Bobcat, which is quite an amazing engine. Now that I think about it, it kind of looks like the RD-180 with 2 combustion chambers. Anyways, this was the thing I made to make this behemoth, the V2Able. Yes, the original V2 first stage. Okay, well, the thing has just one stage, and then the second and third stages of the Vanguard. Also how I like to call it the pinball stage. So the pinball stage, I'm just going to call it like that, on top of the V2 rocket. And of course with the very traditional payload. As I said, I really like the Able rockets as well as the V2 rockets. The V2 rockets, of course. So I will combined the two and made them into the V2Able. Excuse me. Yeah, so that's for the context, and now we will launch this thing to see if it really works. Okay, so we are on the launch pad, and this thing already looks amazing. It really kind of looks like a Thor Able, but it's the V2Able. Well, I don't really think that the V2 is historically accurate. Okay, it's already tilting because of wind. That's because of stupid stuff. 3, 2, 1, launch. Okay. We are in the air. As I showed you the V2 I made, that one actually got into orbit itself. So a proper SSTO. It's not very, well, useful, but it's legit. Also, I'm not the best at getting into orbit, especially with changing course to get to the west or east. I think it's the east. Yeah, east. So I'm not an expert in getting into orbit. You would need to watch some other videos for this, but I'm just going to do it my way since it's kind of worked always. So we are just going to tilt. I can't remember. You should be at like 45 degrees when you're at 10 kilometers in altitude, which is kind of where we are right now. As our first stage burns amazingly, we are 24 kilometers above the surface. You can still see the entire thing, which I think is amazing. I mean, what should you say? With the thing I said that this thing got into orbit itself. Kerbin has very weak gravity in comparison to Earth. It's also way smaller. Yeah, that's that. Oh my god, we are getting... Okay, that's good. That's good for now. We still have 400 meters a second there. That's crazy. Okay, well, we're going to wait until we are in... That was the wrong thing. We're going to wait until we are at 70 kilometers, because then we will stop losing altitude. That's going to be good. I don't know if I already should release the second stage or still like burn the first stage. Yeah, I'm still going to burn it a bit, just so that we can use it. I'm just going to tilt this down to bring the apo-apsis down. It's not going to bring anything, but... Okay. First stage burnout and release of the second stage while still in kind of atmospheric stuff. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, this can control way better, of course. You know. Yeah, just get to prograde. And you can detach the fairing, and here we have our little satellite. Yeah, it's not the best satellite, it's just like kind of a thing I made. I mean, it's a basic satellite. You have some solar panels, you have a main thing, you have an electric thing, and you have a thing. And you have a thing that's very good. That actually got us into an orbit. Seriously. Also, don't mind all of this junk. So, exactly, I can also teach you how to bring perfect orbit. So, what you're going to do is, you see this apoapsis marker you have here, you're going to add maneuver. Especially when periapsis is lower, but it's kind of your choice. You can either do it at periapsis or apoapsis, what you want. And then you're just going to pull this thing in or out. Or in, or okay, I messed up that sentence. You either pull it out to increase periapsis, or you move it in to make it like smaller. Yeah, and then you can just like get it as close as possible, and then when you're like very close, you can use the mouse wheel, as you can see, and then I'm just going to try to perfectly align this. Well, it's not going to be perfect. You can do another burn over there. I'm just going to try to put this in a perfect orbit for tutorial. Exactly. My god. Okay, no, back to the main thing of the video, with the V2. This thing has so much delta V. Look at this. This thing has 2,000 meters a second, and this thing has another 1,200 meters a second. That's definitely enough to get you to minmus, or the mun. Okay, so, yeah, back to the maneuver. You will now need to wait until your burn will come up, so you can just, well, speed here. Warp, as we call it. Electric unit. Well, I will still need to bring that down, bro. Exactly. And then, the best thing to do is, you will wait, so you have 5 seconds, and then if you go to full throttle, then wait until this is at around half, and then burn. So like here would be at 2.5 seconds, you will need to guess, of course. So let's see. And ignition. Exactly. And then when you get close to the end of the boost, you will slow down and then just do a tiny tad, and then you can get it to perfectness. And look at that. That's almost a almost perfect orbit. And well, we still have an entire thing. Wait a sec. That thing has a control unit. So that means I could bring this thing down. Exactly. So that's how you would get something into orbit if you just want to get something into an orbit. So now, of course, this isn't perfect. So at the okay. Exactly. So here we have our thing. So and now if you don't like this, you can go here, do another maneuver to get this thing just at the perfect rate if you want to. But this is going to be good for me. Yeah, if you just want to get something into an orbit and make the orbit perfect, that's how you make this. Although I don't know what I should do with this. This was just kind of a test. I'm just going to make this orbit one more time. Yeah, that was the V2Able, and it successfully got us into well, kind of bad, but still into an orbit with the first stage. I don't know if I should put this thing onto Steam. I mean, it already burned Steam. I guess I should put it on Steam. Ha, ha, ha. How much control do we have? Full pro control. Extend antenna! Yeah, I think we can go back to revert flight to vehicle assembly. So yeah, thank you for bearing with me in this, well, different video, different kind of video. As you can see, I'm kind of a rocket nerd. Okay, everything falls down, even sticks. So if you want to see any other rockets that I made, like the Ares 1 or the Ariane 4, or specific versions, and also the old version, which was bad, then, well, bear with me. I'm probably going to also wait. I have Delta 2 and Delta 3. I can make like separate videos on these. I'm going to show the Delta 3 because it's one of my favorite ones. So I think this part could be a bit longer, but I think this is quite a good replica. So I hope you liked this video. Exactly. So if you want to see more of this, like the other rockets I've shown you, then yeah, tell me. Or maybe I'll just do it on my own, because I'm motivated. Anyways, thanks for watching, and we will see us the next time, I guess.